Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome back to the Underachievers Podcast, episode 16, I want to say. Maybe 17, I can't really remember. But this is the podcast we do when we just want to shoot the shit about random topics. And it's the only one featuring two bearded men saying things on the internet. That's confirmed. I've looked into it.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
My name is the Habitual Pixel. This is my co-host, BigNasty Productions. Links to my channel and his, of course, in the description below if you want to check out what we do. But today's episode is going to be mostly on Fan-Expo, Toronto 2015, which we just attended a week ago, give or take. And it's for those of you who live out of the area, it's not quite San Diego level of Comic-Con, but it is the essentially the biggest thing like that around here where we live in Canada. That has 100,000 people or more go through it, so it's a pretty big convention. Lots of cosplay, gaming, you know.
Yep.
And we've been going for a couple of years now, and don't really plan on stopping going because it's a lot of fun.
I mean, they got good comic book writers that come there. They had J. Scott Campbell. They had
we pull in
decent
decent guests. Like I said, not quite San Diego level, but it's got to be in the top 5 maybe for conventions in this side of the planet. Anyways, I would hope.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it was one of the bigger ones.
But yeah, that's what we did last weekend, and it was quite an enjoyable time. We're gonna chit chat about some of the things we saw, some of the things we bought needlessly, like this Nuka-Cola bottle right here. Yeah, look at how cool that is, Nuka-Cola. Hey. I'm such a sucker for Fallout shit. It's ridiculous. So, what'd you think of this year's con? I always call it a con, even though it's Fan-Expo.
Well, it is still a con, and I'm pretty sure it even says it on the website. But I thought it was pretty good. I thought this year was, I actually almost enjoyed it a little more than last year, because I feel like we were just kind of a little more all over the place last year, and since it was the 20th anniversary, it was pretty hectic. Like, it was packed, and even though we were there for all 4 days both times, you know, with this, I thought that while we didn't do as much as far as panels last year as we did this year, I thought definitely the one thing that they were lacking on as opposed to the 2014 when we went was definitely some of the guests. Like, I felt like, you know, they had, again, it was the 20th anniversary, but they had a Stan Lee. And actually, you know what? Aside from him,
Patrick Stewart, I think.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart and William Shatner, Adam West, Ward.
Yeah.
A couple guys like that. Bruce Campbell, obviously. But this year, I thought it was pretty good. Some of the guys that we saw, like, I mean, Tom Savini was great. George Romero, of course, he's always good.
Mike Tyson,
who was fantastic. Probably one of the highlights of the whole weekend for me.
Oh, me too.
I can't speak for you. Yeah.
And that might be my favorite panel. Savini's panel was great too. Actually, all the panels we ended up going to were good.
I was glad we actually got to be included in Savini's panel as well. Got to ask questions.
Yeah, I like the I like the smaller panels, if you will, because like Walking Dead panel, they fill a fucking monstrous room with fans. But like people like Savini and Romero, you can actually have like even though they're huge names in what they do, you can still have a room with like, you know, less than 50 people in it. So it's kind of like a personal experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can ask a question and he'll answer you, you know, face to face, and that's something that I really enjoy, especially with all these people that are like, you know, heroes of ours in the various fields that they've worked. Romero especially I love his movies, or at least his old movies for certain reasons. But yeah, it's really cool to see the people you love up close. The panels are definitely the way to go.
And it was good to get signatures from them. I mean, for both of them, it wasn't too unreasonable. I'll admit that, you know, nowadays it is definitely kind of ridiculous for certain people. Like, for instance, in my opinion, and I don't know about anybody else, but I don't really think that a Nev Campbell or Norman Reedus should really be charging more than someone like George Romero for a signature, because of the fact that, especially Norman Reedus, because in my opinion, Norman Reedus, no one would give a shit if it wasn't for Walking Dead, because, I mean, Boondock Saints, well, it's awesome. The second one, in my opinion, kind of sucked, but the first one's amazing.
First one's awesome, man.
Without Walking Dead, I feel like he'd be kind of irrelevant as far as right now, because no one really gave a fuck about Norman Reedus until Walking Dead was going.
I mean, I don't think he's a bad actor or anything like that.
He seems like an alright guy. He seems like a dope to fucking hang out with. But,
he seems chill. Like he's always.
I'm not paying $200 essentially.
Exactly,
to fucking go get the signature from the guy. Like, fuck off. I mean, that's fucking bullshit, man.
That's the duality of these conventions.
Guy charges more than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's one of the greatest fucking boxers of all time, most respected heavyweight champions of all time.
Yeah, that's
are you kidding me?
My biggest beef with the con is the price of tickets autographs and pictures. Basically, if you want to meet the said person one-on-one and have something signed,
dude
or take a picture,
charges more than Stan Lee.
Yeah, you're gonna pay a pretty penny, and it goes. Yeah, it ranges all the way from like Tyson or somebody who's like maybe $50 for a signature, maybe.
Tyson was $100.
Maybe $100 for
Stan Lee was $70. Those two, I can understand those prices. Those prices seem perfectly reasonable to me.
They're still high in my opinion, but yeah, it is understandable. Those guys are gods, but people like Nev Campbell and Norman Reedus are perfect examples. They demand a like over $100 price tag for a picture, sometimes as much as $200. Like. If you want to,
Reedus, I think was like 145, something like that.
Yeah, and if you want,
not that I really want to take a picture with the guy, because what the fuck am I going to do with that? But
I don't know.
I just kind of wish that you could like just stand in the line, go up, just say hi, shake your hand or whatever, walk by if you didn't want to buy anything. But no, the only way you can even go online to do that part of it is if you're actually paying to get something signed. That's one of the biggest issues that I have.
Yeah, it seems like. Everyone I've met at an expo has always seemed nice when I actually get to them, but the fact that you gotta hand their assistant $50 just to like get a face to face with somebody, it's kind of shitty. But I understand the purpose of it. I know so do I.
Just bitching, but
I know these celebs, especially the ones that haven't had recent success, they do still make bank off these conventions, like old horror icons like.
Like a Tony Todd or
cast
Robert Englund, if you will.
Cast of Star Trek Voyager, like they can still go to a con and make a fucking shitload of money, and that's awesome. And because the fans are there, we are, that's part of being a fan is spending that money, unfortunately.
And especially if they're doing panel. If you're doing a panel, I understand because of the fact that you're going, part of the admission price is you do get to go most of the panels for free. Like obviously there's some special events, but so I do understand that too. And I mean, we definitely. I'm assuming a lot of people do. We definitely try to utilize a lot of our time for the panels as well. But
that's what I would recommend anyone going to one of these.
That's what I would recommend.
Is if you
otherwise you're just spending money.
Yeah, unless you really have an attachment to a certain celeb that's there, like you got your Night of the Living Dead signed by Romero, something like that. That I can see, like if it's to you, it's personal, like if it's personally worth it, sure. But otherwise, I'd say if you like somebody, just go to the panel and hang out with them, essentially, listen to some questions be asked, hear some cool stories about their work. That's where the best experience is, I think.
Like we did with Savini, even though I still got Creepshow signed by Savini as well. But,
yeah. And
like that's what I mean, like some of those guys, like I didn't mind that. And like last year, when we went, I got My Nightmare on Elm Street movie poster signed by Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, and John Saxon. I didn't mind doing that. And John Saxon even did it for free when you took it up to him when I was waiting in line for Robert Englund. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm not sure if he did that on purpose, but either way. You didn't ask for anything. I thought he was just being a nice guy. Some of these guys, that's how they should be. Like, you're my fans. If you have something you want signed, it should be free. But
I don't know if it's like Norman
if you
Reedus
want to buy something off of them.
I don't know if like Norman Reedus and guys like that are like, what's the buddy's name from Vampire Diaries there last year? Ian Sommerfeld, something like that.
Something like that. Yes.
I don't know if people like that do it so that it just kind of weeds out some of like the super fucking nut people that you don't really even want coming up to you. Like I can understand if that's the case.
That's got to be partially it. Yeah.
Like that makes sense to me. But, I wish you could kind of just...
Because usually you're not going to pay $145 to stab the celebrity that you have a weird thing with, right?
Yeah, so I would hope not. I mean, if you did that, that's just fucked up.
You weed out the crazies is what I'm saying.
That's what I mean. It must have something to do with that.
And it also stops them from getting fucking mobbed by people all day long.
And as much as it does suck, if you really wanted to see that person, I guess it is great that you at least have the opportunity where you can do something to see them if you want.
Because that's what being a fan is all about, and it's we all take our various forms of entertainment for granted, and it's nice to see the people that actually make it. That's what
I'm just saying. That's what I like about the comic writers. For the most part, you can just walk around and talk to them. I remember last year we were walking by Tony Moore just shit because he's right there.
If you're a fan of artists, this is it's got to be one of the biggest art comic book art conventions. Period. Because maybe not period, but they really like their artist alley. It's one of the best parts about the Toronto Fan-Expo is the section just purely dedicated to artists. And that means you're going to find shit that you can't find anywhere else, actually, because it's an independent artist who brought it there himself.
And you can even get stuff commissioned.
You can get commissions, purchase things to be shipped later or whatever. That's where I got the Nuka-Cola bottle. They're all handmade, so it's stuff like that that's really cool. But as well as that, there's a whole line of established comic book names, right? From not so many writers, but definitely a lot of the artists were there. And like last year we were hanging out with Tony Moore.
Scott J. Campbell, or J. Scott Campbell, whatever the fuck his name.
Yeah. There's some very talented artists. The one of the main artists.
Ed McGuinness was there.
Yeah. One of the main artists of Samurai Jack was there. Like a show that I loved as a kid. That was rad. Underappreciated show, by the way, Samurai Jack. It's just it's cool. Those guys are pretty chill. You can just if you are a hardcore nerd for someone's actual personal art, you can just go up and talk to them, and they will be honored to have a conversation with you usually.
Same with fan fiction and independent work. Some of the when I was there last year, when we went last year, is when I found Twisted Dark. Neil Gibson. Mm-hmm. I ended up buying the first 3 volumes.
Yeah, it's a great graphic novel.
Oh man! And then I've read the 4th volume, and when we went this year, unfortunately they didn't have the 6th available for purchase, or I would have bought the 4th, 5th, and 6th because I bought the 4th one digitally. Mm-hmm. But man, the stuff that they do, I would have never seen this before if I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
If I didn't buy this there, because Neil Gibson is, I believe, is he British or Australian, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
T-Pub Comics, I've never heard of him before until I was there.
Fiercely independent, I would say, and
we were just shooting the shit with him before when we were talking about the books. Mm-hmm. And that's what got me into it in the first place. So I was like, that kind of thing to me, the exposure for the artistic element of it, in that regard, that's probably one of the best environments you can go to. I think that's, to me, is an awesome place to be for those 4 weeks for that.
I'm a huge fan of
it's awesome.
Comic book and game art and stuff like that. I've always loved it. I got art books of it and shit. So that's always been right up my alley. And you'll find a lot of independent artists who do genre bending mashups and different styles, like a graffiti style or watercolor fucking cat versions of stuff.
That graffiti. You can probably see him there.
Yeah, graffiti venom there.
And that's from an artist there. Fun, man.
So you're gonna get stuff you actually can't find anywhere else, which is awesome. There's a lot of stuff there that if you search the internet, you'll probably be able to find.
They usually have shops or selling
merchandise wise, But the artist alley is where you're gonna get the really unique stuff, and in my opinion, it's one of the main reasons to go, because you can get some real neat prints that you just can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, just between that and the Artist Alley and the panels, you already get your money's worth for ticket wise. Especially when we buy, we do, because we buy the premium pass, just because it fucking makes it easier. You bypass a lot of bullshit just by doing it. So it's definitely worth the money for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would recommend if you plan on going all the days, just buy your pass early. Get it mailed to you so you have it. You can just walk right in. You want to minimize your time waiting in bullshit lines. And that's what I would recommend. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually end up wasting your potential ticket's value, I think, if you just hang out on the floor the whole time. But like you said, the artists and the panels, if you take full advantage of those, you definitely get your money's worth.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the panels, you gotta be worried. I mean, with the Walking Dead panel, and it's not necessarily their fault, because, they're under contract, and people are asking stupid questions, in my opinion, in that regard.
I blame the question askers on that one.
If you continuously just ask, what's your favorite this of a show? What's your favorite this show? All they're going to say is, watch this season, because it's in this season. Because that's their whole agenda. That's why they're there, for the most part, with some of those bigger names.
Yeah.
But like you said, the ones there, it's a little more personal. If you kind of set those out, or even some of the activities, like some of the different, like where they have like workshops and
LARPing,
different like seminars. Oh yeah, like the different stuff that you can do, I think is one of the biggest assets of it as well. Because one of the biggest differences, whereas a lot of the Comic Cons, the New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con and stuff like that, a lot of them do focus on the just big name panels, and that's where it seems like a lot of it is. But I mean, obviously, there's still comics and stuff like that. But
yeah,
they get a bit bigger names. But to me, I don't know. It's definitely like, this year was awesome, but like, it felt less busy than 2014. I don't know if it's just that it was the 20th anniversary. Maybe it was the lack of higher profile guests.
Yeah, Stan Lee was there last year and stuff like that.
But
maybe they just
Mike Tyson, man.
Yeah, maybe they planned it a little bit better. I'm not sure.
It seemed like he was planned a bit better. I mean, the one guy tried to stop me on the fourth day from going out the door. We'd gone out 15 times before throughout the entire weekend.
No one gave a fuck before. Yeah.
I thought we were allowed to go out that way. I had no fucking idea.
Conventions are massive, and they're worked by a lot of volunteers. So traditionally, you get problems with.
Who knows? We could have been able to. I thought that's what priority access meant. How the fuck?
It's a door, right? I guess they don't want people coming back through that door.
Oh, yeah, I guess people can sneak in and shit.
Yeah, so the security and stuff is, I guess security is probably a company. Probably a company, but there's a lot of volunteers, and they don't always know what the fuck they're doing. So sometimes problems arise when you're trying to control 100,000 people. It just doesn't always go smooth, we'll say. But this year they did a much better job.
They do their best. They do the best they can.
Yeah, last year we saw, paramedics. They had to apparently shut it down. It was over capacity. Bad shit happened. But not less of that this year. We did see an old man in a kilt being arrested.
That was odd. At first we thought it was cosplay, to be fair.
That's the problem, is that, cops are, they are stationed at these things sometimes. You have a hard time telling if it's a cosplay or not sometimes. You're like, is that gun real? Oh, that's a real gun. That's a real cop. Oh, he's handcuffed a man. Oh, that guy's probably getting arrested.
Nope, they're actually leaving in securities with them, too. Yes. Oh, shit. He's wearing a kilt. What the fuck did he get arrested for?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
We figured it was either flashing or fondling.
Yeah.
So...
Two very big no-nos at a convention. They will throw your ass out hard for that.
And he looked like he was a good pushing 60-something.
Yeah, it was an old man being arrested at a comic book convention. You don't see that.
It's a little odd, huh?
Yeah.
I used to just spend my time perusing the comic books, but I didn't spend nearly enough time doing that this year, I find. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that is kind of a waste of my time. I shouldn't just spend money while I'm there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean...
Who doesn't like comics? I mean,
a lot of people go there just to shop, plain and simple. Because you can easily waste all of your money and then some on just it's not necessarily exclusive or anything, but just cool shit for whatever. Like, depends on what kind of nerd you are. There's something for everyone.
Luckily, I'm many.
Yes, I'm a few with myself. But yeah, like if you're a comic book enthusiast, like the actual paperbacks and whatnot, tons and tons of options there.
Oh yeah.
The gaming has been on a steady increase this year as well, though Bethesda strangely was absent this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, which was weird considering they were there in 2014 doing the Evil Within, which
they're promoting the Evil Within, which isn't their game, but they're publishing it. But you think this year they'd be hyping up on my friend Fallout 4? But
not that it's hype.
No, it doesn't need hype, but I would have, if I could have played it, I would have waited a day.
Any opportunity, right? Why not?
I would have dedicated a day to waiting in a line to play Fallout 4.
I was definitely glad to see Star Wars Battlefront there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess we can touch on some other games. Actually, a lot of companies were there. Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, of course, is always there promoting the next Assassin's Creed.
Which I did the wrong fucking line for, so I didn't even get to play.
Yeah, Nintendo was back. Let's talk about some games. Even though we didn't play a lot of them, I did observe. I did observe, just because lines are ridiculous in this kind of thing. Minimum Battlefront line was like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm not the most patient fellow in the world, so I don't know.
Just to play a video game, like I'll just look and then play.
As much as I am looking forward to Battlefront, I think it will be a decent game. I hope, fingers crossed, don't fuck it up, EA.
I hope it wasn't done.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't done too, because the little bit we did watch, I think graphically it was really on point. Like, it looked good, it sounded good, but the animation seems stiff, kind of like a PS2 game or something, you know.
Yes.
It's kind of like the old Battlefront, actually, which is, you know, doesn't work in today's day and age when you have something like Call of Duty, which is known for its very, whether you like it or not, it has very like fluid movement, you know. Fast movement, I guess.
That's fast movement.
Yeah. Where Battlefront seemed a little sluggy. I don't know. Hopefully that won't be a detriment to the final product. But
well, because when we looked over, they were playing, what was it, Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Black Ops 3 is the next.
Black Ops 3 they were previewing, and to me it looked like that was, as far as the first-person shooter or even third-person shooter in Battlefront's regard, even in that aspect, it seemed like that one was just a little better at doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was a little more, I don't know, today. Whereas Battlefront, you're right, it seemed like the older Battlefront, which, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to fucking buy it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, graphically, I was really impressed to see lasers, like, knock over piles of rubble and footprints and stuff. Like, it looked on point. All I'm hoping is don't fuck it up, EA. That's all I want.
Was it EA that's making that?
Yeah, they're publishing it.
EA, like Canada EA or States EA?
I would imagine it's one and the same. It's EA Games.
Oh, no, they got different studios. There's like a studio in one.
Yeah, they have different studios, but it's DICE. The studio is DICE. It's being
that's who's actually
being published by EA. Yeah, DICE, who does the Battlefield games.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, like Battlefield Hardline 1, 2, and 3, all that shit.
I'm surprised that. Sorry, excuse me. I'm surprised that it doesn't have a little better movement as far as the show, because those games are awesome.
Yeah,
Hardline was fantastic.
I've always been a fan of, especially 3, Bad Company and Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. I put a lot of hours into those two, so I'm a fan of DICE's work. Unfortunately, EA is just so they do shitty things these days. Well, with the DLC and like battle packs and like which are little packs you open to get guns that they cost a couple bucks a piece or something like that. I don't favor that, but hopefully they don't go.
That's far too common in video games nowadays.
It is. It's unfortunate. It's like how much money is enough for your game? The normal asking price is $70 for a game. I think that should cover pretty much all of it, unless you want to mention
if you buy the like Ultimate Edition or whatever, which is generally over $100. And that for a fucking disc that probably cost them $2 to make. Some other shit that maybe cost them $4.
Yeah. Well, they've already announced the Battlefront Special Edition, and then it's got a couple levels and some new guns, and I know it's probably gonna cost $120 if I had to guess, and that's a lot of damn money for a game, man. I have trouble paying that much for like a collector's edition I actually want, like the Fallout Special Edition or something.
Yeah.
Which I'd pay $200 now just because I can't get it.
I'd happily pay whatever I need to get that.
Yeah, I might have to eBay that motherfucker. We'll see. We'll see how treacherous that is. But as far as other games, like we said, they had the latest Assassin's Creed, which is
it looks
Syndicate.
Cool. Yeah.
And I think that's
cool. You can get to play it.
I haven't played the last 3 Assassin's Creed games. The pirate one was the last one I played.
Black Flag, that's right.
Yeah, Black Flag was quite enjoyable. And I was a fan during like Assassin's Creed 2, for example. I played the shit out of that game. I thought it was quite good, but I just got bored with the thing. But I think this, they're taking it to London, right? Like 1800s London.
So it's like that you're like a guy and a girl. Like it's like you're different people.
You can switch back and forth, a la GTA or something like that. And I think both the setting and the fact you can be 2 people might add enough freshness. Because London during 1800s, that's pretty cool. Hopping around the London rooftops and gang wars with billy clubs and fucking, I don't know, whatever. And British people. That's always fun. But yeah, we didn't try that, nor did I watch too much of it. I've seen all the videos. It's an Assassin's Creed game. You pretty much know what you're going to get.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's, of course, Just Dance with the same poor Ubisoft employees that
other thing that's just awesome to do. Go to Just Dance and just stare at people in cosplay playing Just Dance.
They're still promoting Just Dance, which is, I think, out. I think it's already came and gone, but they're still promoting the Kinect or whatever.
I feel like people know about it.
I feel like most do as well, but they still always demo it at all these shows with the same poor girls showing the same dance moves. But like you said, something amazing is watching kids in cosplay go dance to whatever song is. Like we saw Macho Man Randy Savage and
that was awesome.
A few other cosplayers dancing their ass off, so that was cool. That's always good for a larf. Nintendo actually had a presence there. They showed Mario Maker, which is coming out soon, which looks
super tedious.
Yeah, it looks tedious, but it looks like
tedious as shit.
Looks like the smartest thing Nintendo's done in a bit, though.
So after you spent 17 hours building your Super Mario level, you can play it for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the main benefit is playing other people's levels. That's where the...
Yeah, true. That's actually a good idea. I like that.
Because these kids are going to make the most ridiculous fucking creations, and it's
going to... Did you see the guy we were watching?
Mm-hmm.
He had the little things that shoot the bullet at you all over... every single place you could go on.
Yeah. You can do some crazy shit. That's what I would look forward to trying with Mario Maker. I don't have a Wii U, nor do I plan on getting one, but if I ever should...
is the game I would get it for.
Yeah, exactly. If I should happen to get one in the next couple of years when they drop another $100 or something, that'll be the first game I get, probably. And, yeah, I don't know. I look forward to seeing the crazy contraptions these kids make. What other games were there? I mean, Splatoon was there, but I already know about Splatoon.
I'm trying to think what else was there. They had Oculus Rift, but I didn't really see what those people were playing.
It appeared to be playing.
They were just watching something.
Yeah, it appeared they were playing maybe a driving game or something. I couldn't tell because for some fucking stupid reason they don't show what the Oculus sees on the screen so that passersby can see. They essentially look like these kids just staring into a blank screen, just doing this. I'm sure they were having the time of their life. But
doing the Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, it was. It was no fun for us to watch. That's for sure. Intel also brought some PC gaming. It's nice to see PC gaming represented. They had a game called Dreadnought on display. Which
that was a sick looking game.
Yeah, it's like a 5v5 ship fighting game with different sizes of spaceships that battle. It looked really cool. I'm excited for that game to come out. As far as gaming, that seemed to be mostly it. They had Troy Baker as far as guests go. They didn't have Tommy Tallarico and Victor Lucas for last year, the Canadian gaming celebrities. But they did have Troy Baker. If you don't know him, he voices fucking everything. He was Joel from The Last of Us to the main guy in Bioshock Infinite to I think he had a role in Arkham Knight as well. And yeah, the list goes on and on and on. So that was cool to see. We didn't wait for him or anything, but I did see him signing shit, so that was cool. As far as
the hosts of Interspace were super nice too.
What's that?
The hosts for Interspace were super nice as well.
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah, Interspace. I forgot they were there. They were just casually walking around interacting with fans. That's my favorite thing to see about these cons is people that are famous but only maybe internet famous or something, but they can still walk around and interact with their fans. I love seeing that shit.
Yeah, Victor Lucas was doing that exactly. 2014, even though I don't know, I always kind of thought that he was a little I didn't really think he was that small. I thought he was kind of a bigger known person. Mm-hmm. Doesn't Tommy Tallarico work on a lot of games for? Yeah,
he's a sound designer.
Sound design, and shit like that. Yeah,
he's worked on a lot of games actually. Yeah.
I mean, fucking Victor Lucas, as far as I know, that was the first.
I think he's a
show I remember watching besides Video Arcade Top 10 and shit like that. You know what I mean?
If you kids want a blast from the past, YouTube Video and Arcade Top 10. Oh man, that's what we used to have to deal with for our video game content.
But that's remember we were talking about the contest on Saturday night? We used to have them at the school. Remember the competitions they would have? It was like that.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I swear to God they're trying to mimic that goddamn show. But I remember I drew a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog when I was a kid and got my mom to mail it in to the show to see if they'd put it on their wall. I don't believe they did.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I probably sent in one too. I watched a lot of that show.
That show was awesome, man.
Yeah, and
I always relied on those shows to see what games I actually wanted to play.
In the days before,
in those days before you had
before
computers
the internet. I eventually
everyone had them.
Yeah, I eventually discovered video game magazines when I was, Nintendo Power and shit like that. I used to read some of those. Yeah, that brings me back.
Game Informer and
Game
Nintendo
Informer,
Power. Yeah.
Electronic Gaming Monthly. That was my favorite one. I still have fucking issues of that laying around, I'm sure.
The sad part is I remember my one stepbrother used to have tons of the ones with issues for things like Sega and Super Nintendo and stuff like that. It's just...
but that's what we used to have to do before the days of, IGN and GameSpot.
Just look up a fucking walkthrough.
Yeah.
A wiki walkthrough, sorry.
Yeah, and then eventually we had GameFAQs, which is like... was where anyone could write a walkthrough of a game. So it was like open source walkthrough. So
I used to love when they would do like the little titles of the game, but in code essentially. Yeah,
that's a classic of. I'm sure it still exists, but that was my go-to for like cheats and walkthroughs if I ever needed them. If I ever wanted to go shit crazy on GTA, I remember printing out the whole page of cheats and.
One thing I will say though is video games are a lot harder now and don't let you cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless you're playing on PC.
Yeah, I wouldn't even.
No Game Genies or
Game Sharks. Oh man, another blast from the past. No, you really can't do that shit anymore. And it's all about you either mod it on PC or you just play it the way it's supposed to be played. But I like that Grand Theft Auto still has cheats. I don't think it should be used to...
Same with Saints Row. Saints Row has as well because it's a blatant ripoff of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yes. With just turned up to 11.
It's just as louder than 10.
Why don't you just make 10 loud? Well, this goes to 11. What was I going to... I lost my the cheat. My favorite use of cheats is not to like finish the game quicker or make it easier, is to just turn on some crazy shit like Grand Theft Auto Zero Gravity, and make in the old Grand Theft Autos you could there was like arm all pedestrians and then make pedestrians go crazy, so you could just turn the city into a fucking war zone. see how long you last, like or flying cars, shit like that. Donkey Kong heads from on 007, stuff like that. Those are fun cheats to me.
Even like the cheats that they used to have in Tony Hawk and
Tony Hawk had some good
GoldenEye stuff like that, like Big Head.
Yeah, I don't want to like make the game easier. I just want to make it more ridiculous.
Which I'll admit, I cheated the shit out of. I would always with like a Resident Evil 2. I think Nemesis I actually played through with before putting cheats on.
Nemesis was a bit easier than the other games.
With Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I would always have to use the cheats. I would always get maybe, a couple hours in and I would have to use the cheats. So I would always use the cheats, go through the game, that way I knew what to do, then go back and try and do it again without the cheats.
Well, fuck, those games were hard, man.
Oh yeah, dude, like those games like Silent Hill and fucking, those were like my games growing up, man. I used to love those things. Yeah, and Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry was a fucking bizarre shitfest of an awesome game.
Devil May Cry is bizarre, but you're right, it is a good series. Even the new one I didn't think was that bad.
I used to love the videos because they were so fucking weird.
Oh yeah, very weird, very anime-inspired, crazy shit going on.
That's why I love Capcom. It's fucking that stuff. And
I like Capcom
Capcom
too.
Does Dead Rising as well, correct?
Yeah, they do Dead Rising.
And the videos in Dead Rising 3 are absolutely hilarious, especially the one with the crazy lady that makes people put flash drives between her tits. It's so weird.
I love the Dead Rising characters, man. It's just the biggest.
Why don't you go over there and lick that lollipop for me?
Oh, that's just the most cliched nonsense.
So weird. And
it's all the psychos are so fucking weird.
Oh, dude, the psycho in the porn shop says that to him. He's like, dude, I don't want to lick nothing or something.
Yeah.
I'm not licking nothing in your ears.
The gold about Dead Rising is that you can dress yourself up in the most stupidest fucking costumes, and that carries over into these supposedly serious cutscenes. So you're just like in a fucking banana hammock while this dramatic moment is going down, wearing like a lady's hat or something.
Oh, dude, I like to wear the G fucking outfit where you got like the gold chain with the money.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
On it. And then you just got like that with like a gold watch, and then I wear like the big bullhead.
I like the
Like that with double Uzis.
yeah.
That's my
Oh,
favorite.
that's where
So
you can do
literally
that spin move.
Yeah.
Right? That spin move is so cool. I love the Dead Rising games. I hope they keep making them.
Oh, so fun. Dead Rising 2 was good, but I mean it was compared to Dead Rising it was a little bit different. So I mean it was okay.
Slightly
But
different. Dead Rising
Dead
3
Rising
is
3
pretty.
is fucking awesome.
Dead Rising
Like,
3 is pretty different than the other ones, but it's better in my opinion.
It's so much better.
Just the open world just blows my mind every time.
That's what I mean. Like this one was the best one because it's like that shit that like goes up each time. I wasn't the biggest fan of number 2, but I did love that you fucking have the motorcycle with the two chainsaws.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
You could also strap a chainsaw to each side of like a kayak paddle and make this fucking crazy. Oh, I love that. I think it's still that weapon's still in Dead Rising 3.
Who's got better weapons? What other games do you know that you can do the combination weapons?
Combination weapons? Doesn't Dying Light have something like that where you can add like shocker thing or flamethrower?
Yeah, but it's kind of stupid compared to Dead Rising. It's not the same thing.
Dead Rising does it best, that's for sure. I don't know of any other games that allow you to like just smash two random things together like that. I mean, hopefully Fallout's gonna have a fair bit of that.
Well, they said they had like it seemed the most customizable weapons of any game I've ever seen. They're just fucking changing everything. You could have like a rocket launcher with a fucking pistol grip, like all this weird shit.
Oh, I love it. It's gonna be so much fun. I hope some variations of weapons just don't work. That'd be fun.
That would be awesome. You
just slap you put a pistol grip on a rocket launcher or something. You just can't properly fire it because it's weighted like shit. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool mechanic.
Best Dead Rising weapon ever though is the fucking gun that shoots dildos.
Yes, that weapon is good.
And they just stick.
Yeah,
the zombies.
I know.
Hilarious.
Oh man, I love putting the shower heads in their head or like putting buckets on their. Oh man, Dead Rising games are hilarious satire of the
teddy bears with the machine guns that are just like.
Yeah.
That's everybody.
Dead Rising is brilliant satire on zombie films and stuff like that. It's so good. A lot of people don't realize it, but Dead Rising 1 especially was just filled with fucking knockoffs and homages, whatever you want to call it, to everything from Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, fucking 28 Days Later, even dabbling in the some of the faster zombie stuff. They weren't fast, but they get hyped up at night or whatever. They're a little bit more aggressive, I think.
That's what I hated about Dying Light. Fucking guys scared the shit out of me.
Dying Light, they're really aggressive at night.
I hate to admit that a video game scared the hell out of me, but Dying Light, I would run around fucking frantically, so I'm not the best at first-person shooters, so the screen, I'm just looking everywhere like this, and it's pitch black.
Yeah.
This is like this, and I have nowhere to go. All these things are fucking chasing me. I just kept getting killed. I just got so sick of it, I had to take the game in and get something different.
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't tried Dying Light yet, but the trailer for their new DLC looks crazy.
The graphics were filthy, and the mechanics were awesome.
Drop-kicking zombies is always fun. I don't know how we got on this zombie game tangent, but
this is the greatest non-related segue we've ever had with our rambling.
Oh yeah.
So we went from Fan-Expo right into video games we like.
If you notice, we don't do transitional material. We just go right on into the next thing. And sometimes we don't even realize it. But yeah, that's fine. That's why it's called That's what we do here. We ramble. You know that when you sign up. Yeah, I guess we could wrap up Fan-Expo chit chat. I think it's one of the better cons I've been to. I don't know what we didn't cover except for. Yeah, I don't know. I think we talked about my favorite parts, anyways.
It's better than some of the just singular themed ones that I've gone to and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of expos that are just like Anime Expo, Horror Expo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Shockstock or Anime North or Penny Arcade Expo for games and stuff like that. Even though it's much bigger on whatever their subject is, Fan-Expo does a great job of having a little bit for everyone, I think. If you're a horror guy, there's a ton of stuff to look at. Like you said, you like your paperbacks or graphic novels. There's a shitload to see there.
There's great selections, and some of the prices. I mean, obviously, if you're actually a collector, great place to go because while the prices are sometimes a little bit ridiculous, I'm sure, and a lot of places buy comics, which that's one of the greatest parts too. So if you're someone like me that collects comic books and likes to trade them and buy new ones and switch up and kind of differentiate your collection a little bit at certain times, it's a great place to go because you can get different things that are really hard to find if you only have a couple different stores you go to in your hometown
or you resort to eBay.
Exactly. Or maybe you're from a small town and you don't even have that as an option.
You got to eBay everything or Amazon it.
It's definitely it's good for that. And when you're talking about all the stuff you can buy, there's a lot of cool stuff that people work really hard on, like a lot of independent stuff. Like I bought Ninja Turtle coasters and like a Ninja Turtle pins and stuff like that they made. Like there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Something laying around here.
I've spent a stupid amount of money.
Well, that's my only conundrum. I love it too. I can't help myself. I always do it every time I go. I spend too much money, and I know I'm going to do it. Because we also have to travel and afford accommodations, all that bullshit too. But the expo alone, it's so easy to spend money. It's so easy.
We're already all booked for next year. We got our hotel already. So
I'm a Star Wars nerd, and you tell me how I'm not supposed to buy this.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesomest thing ever.
How am I not supposed to buy that?
Oh, that's awesome.
I get another thing we could mention is I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, but it's Force Friday, I guess, was the thing. It was actually the debut of a lot of the toys for the new movie coming up. And while they didn't have everything there, they had some really cool Millennium Falcon RC drones and stuff. Lots of these different lightsabers, both ones meant for kids to hit each other with, and also replica ones you hang on a wall. Star Wars has always been the king of whoring out for toys, but I think they got a nice. I like the new line. How it's a lot of the old stuff is coming back, right?
The Millennium Falcon drone is probably one of the coolest Star Wars toys I've ever seen.
It was remarkably stable.
The way that it moves, that's what. Because to me, it would be completely pointless if it just kind of goes like this.
If it wobbles, but it actually could it could lock
sideways.
It could lock position almost. It was very cool.
You could go down a very narrow tunnel.
Yeah, you could do like he does in the movie, right? When he turns it sideways to get at. Yeah.
You could. It'd be fucking hard, but because to be honest, it kind of goes like.
Yeah, this. I'm sure you'd end up crashing it too many times before that.
But it's cool. It's freaking cool.
So I was happy.
The R2D2.
The R2D2, which was a perfect size for a remote control R2D2.
Yeah.
Very cool.
A good my head and beard size almost.
Yeah, that's a good head plus beard. That's a good indication. Yeah, lots of cool Star Wars shit. I've definitely toned down my buying needless Star Wars crap in recent years, but I could how am I not supposed to get that?
That's the coolest little mug thing ever. You open the top.
Oh yeah.
It actually makes a little.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Star Wars because it's got many flaws. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of my favorite fandoms to be a part of.
I'm brutal for buying useless shit that's got Ninja Turtles on it.
Yeah, like you said,
I buy a lot of comics and
whatever your thing is. Whatever your thing is, whether it be Star Wars, I don't know, Minecraft, Harry Potter, anime, they all have their different little, there's something there you'll just be like, oh, well, I have to get that now.
Comic books, I always get prints or actual comic books, but when it comes to Ninja Turtles, I will buy absolutely anything. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, tons
of Ninja Turtles.
Tons of Ninja Turtle stuff, League of Legends stuff. You like those little Funko Pop vinyl things?
Those little kids.
Bajillions of those.
They even had a little anger group where it's an exclusive where he goes like this.
Yeah, they had.
That was awesome. It froze. Right?
Yeah, it froze for just a second.
That was perfect. It's like the camera knew. Thank you.
Angry group.
Appreciate it, webcam.
That's going in the thumbnail. Just your face like that.
That's what he's doing. It's like, it's looking awesome. Little angry group.
It is a collector's paradise, though, man. If you're what's the word? A nerd, I guess would just be the best. I don't mean that derogatory, but if you're a collector,
you're proud to be a nerd.
Yeah, you should be proud to be a nerd. And a Fan-Expo is a great thing to. If you're, on the fence of should I just, cosplay to a big-ass nerd convention, what the fuck am I doing with my life? If you're like that, just go. You'll be instantly you're with your people, right? People that are celebrating being just as nerdy, if not quite a bit more. And you feel good. You feel good to be with your people. And
I will admit there is something I had to walk out of. I felt
there's some kids that push it.
Yeah,
there's always going to be kids that push it.
For me.
Yeah. What he's referring to is there's a game called Artemis, which is a starship bridge simulator or some shit like that. We go into a room just to take a seat, and there's fucking Goku commanding the USS Enterprise, like, arm aft torpedoes, enemy at the and it was just too much for Cody to
but
take.
He wasn't actually playing.
No,
like, he's like role playing.
Yeah.
Everybody else is doing the work. I feel like if you're, I don't know.
That is how they recommend playing the game. But
that is super weird.
I don't know. It's not for everybody. That's for sure.
I get it. I'd like to be the dude that doesn't actually do anything, because then I'd be like, oh, I'm awesome at this game. I can tell you exactly when to shoot people.
Yeah,
fucking
it'll be
put up my shields.
What if it's your fault when I didn't have the shields up, Captain?
Oh, I'd blame you.
Yeah. Well, the way they do that game is each of those screens actually.
I'd be like, it's still your fault, Chekhov, whatever.
It's your fault, number 2, motherfucker. That's why I'm the captain. But on their actual screens, it's cool because it's actually, like, if you're the weapons guy, you get on your screen is only the weapons stuff.
Whatever that Russian guy's name is in Star Trek.
Yeah, like Chekhov. So you actually have to rely on your crewmates to tell you shit. But it was still too much to see Goku doing it. I understand. Some awesome cosplays this year, man. I will tell you. If you are a cosplay fan or a cosplayer yourself, you are gonna be well at home here. Some excellent Warhammer stuff. A really good Pyramid Head. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's some awesome Pyramid
Giant Pikachu and Baymax walking around.
Giant Pikachu was adorably awesome.
Giant Pikachu was great.
There's 2 Baymaxes.
Yeah,
2 Baymaxes.
2 Baymaxes from Big Hero 6 walking around. A ton of Stormtroopers, the 501st.
Yeah, the 501st Legion, they're awesome.
They always come to these conventions and they donate a lot.
For kids.
Yeah, they do donate almost all their profits and stuff. Yeah. And kids can walk up and shoot a Stormtrooper with a Nerf gun or something. Like that's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, they also walk around en masse and just look menacingly into people's eyes. I love the 501st. I think they're awesome. There's some Star Trek convention going on. The Klingon Summit was this.
I was accosted by Klingons.
Yes, I mean
that was regrettable.
He was accosted by the lead Klingon that just talked your ear off for a minute there about his costumes, and that just proceeded into, hey, you kind of look like a Klingon. Like shit, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Yeah, you got.
I don't remember. Like, I mean, I guess it's Star Trek's kind of thing. Like, it's a good way of making alien races kind of look different. But was there ever like my skin tone Klingons?
No,
I'm not the biggest fan of Star Trek, so I don't know.
No, Klingons. I'm not a huge fan.
I just know Worf
either,
is definitely.
Worf was black. Yep.
Yeah, he's a black dude.
I guess black isn't the right. You know what I'm saying, though.
Oh, I don't care.
They're a dark-skinned alien species.
I'm a white dude. He's a black dude.
I know Torres from Voyager was also like half black or something. And there's another famous Klingon. I can't remember. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah,
I always liked Star Wars more. I think it was just because of the fact that I always felt like if I was there, I'd bitch slap the captain. Gave me shit. Just like, fuck you, buddy. Tell me to do this shit.
Well, that's always been the thing, the difference between Star Trek versus Star Wars. Star Trek is literally you're trekking across in a giant space boat with a crew of people, where Star Wars is like different stories in a.
I do like the new
universe.
Star Treks. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, the Abrams movies were quite good, but yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff for whatever your thing is, right? For me, I'm a sucker for Star Wars and Fallout. That'll get me almost
Fallout, yeah.
That'll get me almost every time. Like Cody's a huge fan of Ninja Turtles. There's lots of stuff. Whatever your thing is, you're gonna find a bunch of.
Doesn't look Ninja Turtles.
You're gonna find something that'll make you, oh shit, well I want that at the very least.
Nintendo slippers, of course.
Yes, Nintendo slippers. If you're a fan of Nintendo collectibles, tons of those there. Board games, tons of collectible board games and stuff too. If you're a fan of that, it's just an awesome convention. I would recommend anyone in the Ontario area, or even like Michigan and some parts of the upper states. Like, it still wouldn't be too bad of a travel. It's definitely worth a try.
Well, we met the one guy. I don't remember where he said he was from.
No, I'm not sure either. But yeah, there was Americans there.
Yeah. There's definitely people come from all over. So it's
Yeah,
pretty cool in that regard, too.
It's very cool. If anyone's on the fence about going to one of these conventions, I say just suck it up and do it. Because, yes, it's expensive. And, yes, you will have long days of walking around. Don't get me wrong, your feet might hurt. But it's so worth it, man.
Oh, so worth it.
You see just... it's a celebration of geek culture. That's something that we're all ingrained in one way or another, and it's fucking awesome. I had a great time this year, and I'll be back next year. I'll be back next year, and hopefully someday we can eventually do I don't know, a San Diego Comic-Con or something like that. Make a long ass travel and meet some of you people. Yes. There's also a few YouTubers and cosplayers there too. I like that they include the internet subculture in there as well. Because even though they're just essentially hot babes, they have millions of followers on the internet, and people love the cosplayers. I like them too. They're very good at what they do.
And I like when I don't know what someone's cosplaying as. There's people that can answer my questions.
Oh yes, if you love anime especially, it's never been my cup of tea. I don't dislike it, don't get me wrong.
I like Ninja Scroll. Maybe I should just dress up like Ninja Scroll, because I don't think any of those kids who are watching fucking Swim Team, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I feel like none of those kids will understand what Ninja Scroll or like Vampire Hunter D or Princess Mononoke. To me, that's good anime.
Those are my kind of anime as well.
I like anime, but I guess I'm not like super...
I like the older movies traditionally.
Man, I'm like that with a lot of shit though. I still listen to Slayer and fucking you know.
No, I'm nostalgic like that. I love my older rap as well, right? I love that shit. But yeah, I'm not a huge anime fan. Nothing against it, but like that seemed to thrive there.
I like the style. I just don't like the concept. Like, why would I watch
most of the shows?
Swim Team.
Most of the shows, anyways, that I've seen, I lose interest in almost immediately. It seems to be the movies that are better, and like even older Studio Ghibli stuff, right? Like that's my favorite kind of anime. As opposed to like the Crunchyroll Swim Team nonsense.
Like, that's something I even like Full Metal Alchemist isn't bad.
Full Metal Alchemist is good, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of different stuff. Like Bleach, I don't think Bleach is that bad.
Bleach is pretty good, in my opinion. I've always been a Gundam Wing fan. I like my big robots. So, there's tons of stuff for anime. The most cosplayers seem to be anime themed.
It did seem that way. It seemed this year especially. Last year, I think it seemed like there was a heavy influx of comics, but the man Stan Lee was there too, so I mean... Or Stan the Man, however you want to say it.
Stan the Man,
Yeah, he was there too.
That'll bring out every Marvel fan, right?
That could have definitely influenced that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we got to see Stan Lee last year. And that's why these things are good. Like, if you have an idol, like, someone in the industry like Stan Lee or what have you, you can have a chance to meet him at one of these things. And it's nice to bridge that gap,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of disappointed that I missed that I missed Animal, Mr. Laurinaitis, and that was unfortunate, but at least, you know what I mean, we got to see a lot of great people. We got to meet George Romero and Tom Savini, and unfortunately didn't get to meet Mike Tyson because it was too expensive, but seeing his Q&A was, his Q&A was probably one of the funniest things.
Great seats for his Q&A. Yeah, we can talk about that for a minute.
Dino Dan.
Yeah. BigNasty here is a boxing fan, so he had more of an attachment to it. But I don't dislike boxing, but I just went because it's Mike Tyson. I thought at the very least I'm gonna get a chuckle at it. His Q&A was fantastic. I laughed so hard. And it wasn't all just like Mike's an idiot kind of laughing at him either. Like, he was telling legit funny stories, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And even though he does talk a little bit funny.
Well, and it's not nearly as bad as it was like when he was in his prime boxing. And that was the funniest thing is this guy sounds hilarious as shit, but he could also murder you with like 3 punches. So, fucking, guy's one of the greatest boxers of all time. The way that the attitude that he brought to boxing, like in the 90s too, is just
that's
in the late 80s and 90s. It was fucking. He was like raw, dude. He was
raw,
awesome,
yeah.
man. Iron Mike Tyson just knocking dudes out in seconds.
Yeah, I loved how when he's asked questions, he's always very humble and just straightforward. Even though he's found a lot of success with, Hangover recently and stuff too, he's like, I'm humble. Do you still box anymore? No, I don't want to.
I love the fact that he says he doesn't watch his boxing matches. He never would because he never was even really a fan of boxing. He just got into it because he had no other choice.
Yeah.
Like when he's talking about stuff like that to me, it's like, that to me is the best type of guest you can have. Like someone that's coming there and that's actually, talking about, what it's like what they're what they do and like stuff like that. Like, I wish other people would open up to that. I feel like Tom Savini definitely does.
Mm-hmm. These Q&As are where you're going to hear, like, never before heard stories or rumors. That's where you learned.
Mike Tyson's talking about his kids who all sound like they're fucking smart as a whip.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's 11 kids that are all doing extremely well. And his Dino Dan story fucking just absolutely slayed me. He went off on this tangent about this show he loves to watch with his kids, Dino Dan, and hilarious.
For a while, we didn't think it was real, but it's definitely a real show.
Well, I had to Google it. I've never heard of it, but like he was so enthralled in this dinosaur story, I had tears coming down my. Oh, it was great. I loved it. And even though it wasn't an especially long Q&A, it was still one of the better ones of the weekend, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he had flown in from China and
was fucking super
jet-lagged.
Super jet-lagged. You could tell he was barely awake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and these guys travel like crazy, so I get it. The Savini panel I really enjoyed. He's a talkative guy. He likes to ramble. And,
the banter between him and the guy who is moderating
the host.
That was probably one of the highlights of as far as panels go.
Yeah, the guy hosting the horror panels did a really good job. Can't remember.
He's funny. I can't remember.
I know he's like a documentary filmmaker of some sort, an amateur documentary.
He said he had worked on films with George Romero. So
yeah, he's been in a few.
He must have done something.
Yeah, he was a good host though. But
he was hilarious.
Hearing stuff like Tom Savini, rumors that he would be the original actor playing the governor, and like little things that I had no fucking clue about.
And he does look just like the fucking comic book.
Well, I would have never pictured that until he said it. I'm like, he does kind of look like he looks pretty close to the comic book governor. He might not be a good actor as the guy who ended up playing him, but he definitely looks more like the part. Shit like that. Hearing Romero tell stories about how Brad Pitt ruined zombies, and
that was awesome.
Crazy stories about him shutting down this mall in the 70s to drive motorcycles through it to film his movies. Like, that's just shit you won't hear anywhere else.
Yeah, like how he was talking about how he felt bad because Zack Snyder didn't even stand a chance with the even though it did really well, the Dawn of the Dead remake. He had tons of limitations, I guess, when shooting at the mall, as opposed to what George Romero was able to do.
Yeah, and he was given free reign, like, still to this day, it amazes me.
Threw him the keys. Here you go.
He was given free reign of a shopping mall, a fully stocked operational shopping mall, and he drives motorcycles through it and sprays fake blood all over it. I love that guy, and I love that movie, and hearing his thoughts about, current projects and current state of the zombie.
And the great thing was hearing them both mention and talk about their reflections on meeting Wes Craven and having relationships with him, and I don't think we mentioned it either, but
I guess
rest in peace to the late Wes Craven.
We didn't mention
huge fan of his.
Yeah, and because this is it's a horror themed. Parts of this convention are horror themed. There was some love for Craven this year, and it was nice to see some of his actual peers talk about him a little bit.
Wes Craven was one of my favorite directors of all time. Like, as long as I've been a fan of movies, which is basically as long as I've been alive, Wes Craven's always been a huge fan of mine, whether it be, the big ones with The Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream, or whether it be, People Under the Stairs, Serpent in the Rainbow, anything like that. Like, it was that. I love that George Romero was talking about that with Serpent in the Rainbow, saying like that's the type of zombies that existed before his zombies.
Yeah.
Serpent in the Rainbow was after, obviously, but that's because
it was themed on.
Wes Craven was doing a voodoo movie, so
he was doing voodoo zombies. It's different.
Awesome movie. That People on the Stairs
and hearing Romero utter the words "Brad Pitt killed zombies," just I'm like, oh, so I was right. It was just like a final stamp.
I had always assumed, but since we've heard it from you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zombie. Thank you for.
It's been confirmed.
He is the godfather of the zombie film, and he his creation has definitely evolved, for the better and for the worse over the years. And fucking World War Z was a goddamn disappointment, man.
I'd say out of the panels that we went to, the only one that was kind of disappointing was just the Walking Dead one, and it was, like you said, mostly because the people asking the questions and.
Yep. I mean, for The Walking Dead, they had Norman Reedus, Chandler, the guy who plays Carl. Yeah, that's his name. And
Lenny James, I think his name is.
Yeah, who plays Morgan on the show. And and also from Snatch that we forgot. I would have liked to meet him. Snatch is one of our favorite crime films. If you haven't seen
Didn't realize it until he started talking. I would have met him. Yeah.
He's one of those bumbling buffoons that works at the jewelry store and robs the bookie. And I would have had him get Snatch signed or something. He's fucking awesome in that movie. But anywho, they were there to talk about The Walking Dead. But all the damn fucking people asking questions, they either asked about stuff they didn't know or stuff they couldn't talk about, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, what's your favorite this, or what do you think is going to happen with, is Daryl's character going to get a girlfriend down the line, or some stupid questions like that. And they're just doing their job. Really, they're not allowed to say anything because they'll get chewed out by their studio or their publisher or whatever. Because
they all guaranteed have non-disclosure agreements for.
Oh yeah, of course. And with the upcoming season starting in a couple weeks, they definitely can't say anything. And I get that, but I mostly blame the stupid fans that just ran up to get in line and didn't really have a fucking a good question in their head. They just ask away. And asking Norman Reedus about the Silent Hill fallout, he's not going to know anything about that. He's an actor. But it is cool to see him, at least acknowledge the Silent Hill fuck-up that happened. And
saying that he hopes that it would
hopes that it gets worked out. I don't think it's going to be worked out. I'm pretty sure that game is canceled for good. Which is too bad, because their little PT, the little demo they released, was so cool. Anywho, but yeah, the Walking Dead panel, it was good. The room was packed, so it didn't feel all that personal, but there was a okay question or two in there, I guess, sprinkled in there. I liked the guy who played Morgan. He's
Lenny James is pretty good.
He's very well composed guy. He's got I guess he does voiceovers on Destiny and stuff like that. He's got a voice that lends well to that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was probably the weakest of the panels. That's just because of the shitty questions.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that as well.
Those guys are just doing their job, man. They can't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know what people expected of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anywho, yeah. Anything else we missed that we didn't cover?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I didn't get too many collectibles. The Nuka bottle and the mug are pretty much it. Some shirts and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it's got some pretty cool prints. Some from the artist Brian Huang, who's a very talented artist.
Yeah, I love that.
I've seen him the last 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. If you want to look him up on Google, or you can find some of his work, I think you can buy it at DeviantArt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that'll have links to his stuff. Yeah, I did get this adorable Chewbacca. Look at how furry and adorable he is.
That guy's awesome. I think he goes in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's supposed to.
He has no little legs.
Supposed to sit in your shirt. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a sucker. What they didn't have that I do really want is that goddamn droid, remote-controlled droid from the new Star Wars film. That looks so cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's shit like that just makes, you're a child. Here, buy this. You want this toy, don't you?
If that thing was reasonably priced, I would buy it immediately.
I would have already bought two and raced them by now. I think they're $150, which is...
That's reasonable.
I guess that's reasonable. I was expecting maybe two, but...
it's a little roly robot from Star Wars. I don't even know what his name is. What's his name?
B88? No, BB8. Yeah, BB8.
BB8?
Yeah.
BB8?
The little ball droid that has a little top. And they made a real one, and it's small.
It's awesome.
It's softball sized, and I want to terrorize a dog or a cat with it. That's all I want. That's such a cool toy. So, yeah. I'm glad that Star Wars fever is back in the air. It's been a long time since...
they almost destroyed the entire franchise and any opportunity.
Until the what us fans like to call the darkness, the dark time, which is Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and most of Return of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith, whatever it is.
And then finally, George Lucas released the property for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no more raping that stormtrooper there, George Lucas. You gotta let it go. Let it go.
That is a fantastic episode of Please Don't Break In a Frozen Song.
It hit the nail right on the head, man. Yeah, you must release the beast, and J.J. Abrams will not fuck it up. No. Knock on wood.
Anybody that's questioning whether or not it's going to be good has no idea what J.J. Abrams is capable of with a property like this.
Yes, this is why he started directing films, is to make
That's what I mean. Like this is the culmination of his career right here. Everything is going to be in this.
Look at his past 2 films. They're like, even though they're Star Trek, which is another iconic sci-fi, but
he's Star Wars the shit out of that.
They're really
that's why it's good now.
Yeah, they're really just demo tapes for Star Wars, right?
You got to admit, it's got a lot more mass appeal than it used to. And
Absolutely.
I swear to God, it's because of that heavy infusion of Star Wars.
Yep. It's Star Wars put more fun in it, right? It's more fast-paced. They, Star Trek has its benefits, don't get me wrong, but...
it's not technically a political drama.
Yeah. Star Trek...
Well, I mean, it is, but...
Old Star Trek works as a TV show, right? It didn't really translate to the films all that well until Abrams came along and moviefied it, basically, and made it work really, really well in the whole, the 2 hour...
Oh, you mean like the Captain Kirk Star Trek, like original Star Trek?
Yeah, because the whole point was...
Yeah, the movies were pretty shitty, except for...
Yeah. Except for Khan. Wrath of Khan was a solid movie. Everyone
Search for Spock wasn't bad either.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the first Star Trek movie, oh my god, terrible. Terrible. There's like 20 minutes of just Kirk floating around looking at the Enterprise while music plays. It's like a pretty sizable chunk of the movie. But anywho, in Abrams we trust. Like we've said before, he would have to maliciously want bad things for the Star Wars universe for it to be worse than the original trilogy. Not the original. The original remakes, I guess. Or not remakes.
The first trilogy, if you will.
Yes.
Air quotes around that.
Yes. Episode 1, 2, and 3. And this will be 7, 8, and 9. That's, yes. So
essentially, he'd have to maliciously, brutally attack it like George Lucas did when he tried to go back into the...
Yes, you'd have to study and emulate George Lucas's tactics and just paint
the second time around, not the first time.
CGI garbage all over everything. You know what made this first Star Wars so good?
Which I even have a video of Tom Savini getting super excited about the fact that J.J. Abrams is building tons of puppets for Star Wars.
Puppets and props, man. So I think the hype is justified. I think
actually that was one of the greatest questions and little segments that we could possibly have, and we got that on film. Is Tom Savini answering a question about whether or not, with the heavy influx of CGI in the film industry, he thought it was going to push out practical effects, and he's talking about how he feels that there's a current movement to actually bring back a heavy dose more of practical effects, a la Mad Max.
Yeah, things like
Fury
that.
Road.
What he said what I've always felt, because he's a practical effects guy. I've always loved visual effects as well, and I think it's best used sparingly. When it works together really well, it's fucking brilliant. And I like that he said that. He's like, I don't hate CGI, you gotta use it right, man. If you don't need to use it, you don't use it.
Yeah, you don't just paint everything CGI and go, oh, well, there you go.
You don't have an actor in a green screen room staring at balls if you can help it. And, I think Star Wars is going to be a primo example of how the aliens up close are going to look great, but they can also go to a space battle, and that's going to look great. Something they have to CGI, I guess.
The actor from that plays C-3PO, I'm not familiar with his name.
I can't remember his name either. But.
He, if I'm remembering correctly, came out in a statement recently saying that one of the biggest differences between this current project with J.J. Abrams and the last one with George Lucas for episodes 1, 2, and 3 was the fact that because it was such a just fucking littered CGI mess, there was no, sets weren't real and, stuff wasn't built and, it wasn't like that, so nothing felt real for them. And this one's brought back the kind of passion that was in the original films when they had to build all that shit.
Yeah, so, that's what I was gonna say. Is what made the original 3 films, the classic trilogy we all know and love, that George Lucas did. What made them so good is that he was actually limited and had to innovate visual effects in numerous ways that are revolutionized visual effects, like the whole models, blowing up models, and Yeah, he had to do that shit because, the technology and the money wasn't exactly there back then. But then as soon as fucking, we have this...
Empire Strikes Back is still the best.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is great.
That's my measuring stick for J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
At least close to the level of Empire. Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's what I would like as well.
In terms of grandiose kind of presentation, you know what I mean?
Oh, I can't wait. I think he'll do an exceptional job. I think he's the right man for the job, and yeah, I guess we got here just from the Star Wars
spectacle for at least a part of it. I don't want a boring ass fucking terribly acted political drama like the what is it, episode 2 and 3 mostly. Episode 1's just a horrendous piece of shit.
Episode 1's unforgivable.
And 2's the one where it's literally just the Senate, right?
It has a lot of Senate
and that stupid Jar Jar Binks land.
Yeah, no, that's the first one.
That's the first one?
Okay. Yeah. Jar Jar Binks land, yeah, that was terrible. It was just a terrible choice to put him in as a character. I mean, if JJ includes a scene where Jar Jar comes back for a split second and then just gets taken out immediately, that'll be the best. That'll be
awesome.
You will make every fucking fan of Star Wars just happy at the same time.
Well, I read somewhere, and I haven't seen it substantiated, so I have no idea if it's true or false, but I did read somewhere that apparently George Lucas, the reason he brought him back in the second film was because there was such a fucking uproar about him being in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that people were pissed, he was like, fuck you, and just put him in the second one anyways.
Well, he wasn't in...
if there's any truth to that?
I'm not sure. That sounds like a George Lucas thing to do.
That's what someone told me. I was like, I don't remember, because
he seems to
actively tried not to watch them more than when I first saw them.
Yeah, he truly seems to have lost all touch with his fans and stuff like that.
Oh, God, yeah.
And, yeah, I knew he was in a lot less of Episode 2, but Jar Jar was still in there a little bit, and then I don't think he was in... probably none of Episode 3 by that time.
I actually remember Episode 3 has that really cartoony-looking lightsaber battle between Ewan McGregor and fucking Hayden Christensen.
On the lava and stuff, yeah.
I feel like if they didn't really hyper-stylize it and give him that stupid feathered hair and everything, it made it more, if it was a little more gritty and realistic, I feel like Hayden Christensen would have knocked it out of the park. It would have been fine.
Mm. I don't think he was the sole reason it sucked. He's not a great actor, but
exactly. He's not great by any means, but
those lines of dialogue were written by somebody. All right.
Neither's Mark Hamill. Neither's Harrison Ford. None of them were very good at all. No. Mark Hamill is the best Joker I've ever heard in my life, but
Mark's built a fucking great career off the back of Star Wars. He might
he's a good voice actor in general.
His most recent success is definitely from voicing the Joker in the fantastic Arkham games and whatever the show,
cartoon series,
the cartoon. And he's I would have never guessed that's
just animated film.
Yeah, I would have never guessed playing Arkham Asylum and City that somewhere in a sound booth there's the Joker or there's fucking Luke Skywalker doing the Joker's voice. So yeah, you get to can see the evolution of their careers all based off of fucking Star Wars. And unfortunately, it's had the opposite effect for Hayden Christensen, and the new.
I feel like that played a big role in Hayden Christensen pretty much being tossed the fuck out.
Yeah,
because even Jumper, while it's stupid as hell, Jumper I didn't think was that bad.
No, I didn't think it was that bad either. I had some major plot holes, but it was fine.
I've seen worse.
Oh, absolutely.
I've even seen worse get a sequel.
Oh yeah, I've seen worse get fucking trilogies. Or 7 of them, Fast and the Furious.
Any Superman movie ever made?
I guess we could rant for a while. But, anywho, you want to wrap up this here episode?
Yeah, sure, might as well. It's probably time we'd be getting ourselves to sleep. I do feel like a sleepy panda.
I'm a little bit of a sleepy panda myself. But, thanks for watching, guys. This has been episode... I believe 16 of the Underachievers Podcast, something like that.
I call it episode something.
Episode something or other. Thank you for watching. My name has been the Habitual Pixel. My co-host, BigNasty Productions. Our channels and work is always in the links below. If you got a question, a comment, or you like what we do, leave us a like, or write us something. We usually check almost all that shit. But, yeah, thanks for putting up with Two Bearded Man Ramble, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!